presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Houston.
It's looking like a win is in the cards for the Astros ace pitcher tonight. Brett Myers enjoys a perfect 8-0 record as an Astro at Minute Maid Park. And his 2.21 career ERA against the Cubs is his lowest against any team. Can the Astros embrace a win? Astros and Cubs are next on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's Game 2 of this three-game series, matching the Astros with the Chicago Cubs. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. Another gorgeous night for baseball. Last night, on a similar night, the Cubs won at 5-4 in a very entertaining ball game, JD.
Yeah, pitching matchup favors the Astros tonight. James Russell making his first major league start for the Cubs. Tonight, Brett Myers goes to the mound. He's been very good in this ballpark. He's been very good against the Cubs throughout his career, and he's been very good so far this year in 2 starts, pitching very good baseball, first in Philadelphia, then last time out in Cincinnati. These Cub hitters are going to have to deal with a guy who has excellent command of his off-speed and his breaking stuff. That will be the challenge for the Cub hitters as you look at his lines for his first 2 starts. No wins yet for Myers, but pitched well enough to win both of those games.
He goes out after win number 1 against the Chicago Cubs, who built a nice lead last night and then had to hang on. We'll see Game 2 of the series right after this.
On Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Steel. Well, let's try that again. Astros Baseball is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Agency. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today, and by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Can you blame me? Greg Lucas down on the field. The weather is so beautiful I can't read. It is a wonderful night tonight. It is 78 degrees. There's just a thin cloud in the sky. Officially 81 at game time with a humidity 21%. The wind very minimal. It's great. The guys are going to be great in the booth, calling all the play-by-play and what we hope will be an Astros win. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Thank you, Greg Lucas. And not in uniform tonight, manager Brad Mills serving a one-game suspension. Xfinity shows you the starting lineup for the Chicago Cubs, managed by Mike Quade. Starlin Castro leads it off at shortstop. He's followed by Darwin Barney at second base. Marlon Byrd's the center fielder. Aramis Ramirez, the cleanup man, plays third base, with Carlos Pena at first base. Alfonso Soriano in left field. Giovanni Soto is the catcher. Tyler Colvin plays right field. James Russell is the pitcher.
And Brett Myers, who has found Minute Maid Park to his liking, takes the hill here tonight for the Astros. His first home start of 2011. You see what he has done in this ballpark in an Astro uniform. 14 starts, 8 wins, no losses. An ERA just a touch above 2. Outstanding work for Myers all of last year and off to a very good start again in 2011.
Starlin Castro gets a first pitch that he fouls away for strike one. It is tough to get the ball by this guy. He's on a 4-game hitting streak right now. Average 364, no homers, 2 runs batted in. And he has 16 hits. He's tied for the major league lead. He has scored 10 runs in the first 10 games for the Cubs. He's been a tough out. And he shoots one on a line into left field for an opening single for Starlin Castro, giving him a 5-game hitting streak.
The youngest player in the major leagues, came up last year, did very well. Excited a lot of people in Chicago. This kid has a very bright future. Well, his present is really good too. But looks like he's going to be able to settle in and be a big-time player here. Very talented young man.
3 hits last night, 3 runs scored. He stole a base. He's on now for Darwin Barney. Chris Johnson even with the bag at third. Carlos Lee holds the runner. Barney batting. And the first pitch curve from Myers goes for ball 1 to a 381 hitter in Barney with no homers and 3 runs batted in. They're set up for a double play. Sanchez and Hall on the middle infield spots for the Astros. Bench coach Al Pedrique managing the Astros tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike with Brad Mills serving that 1-game suspension. Anuri Rodriguez is appealing his 3-game suspension, so he will continue to be active. 4th round pick of the Cubs in 07. Darwin Barney has worked his way into this starting lineup quite a few times already in the early season. Showing bunt, and that's another thing. He can just do all the things. He can execute. That Oregon State background for the 07 NCAA championship team serves him well in Major League Baseball, and it's 2-1.
Well, a good count here if Mike Quade decides he wants to put a play on. Castro certainly capable of stealing a base, but he may also consider a little hit and run play with Barney, a guy who has a reputation of being a pretty good handler of the bat.
Well, last night he had 2 hits, walked twice, drove in a run. Big night for Darwin Barney. Ground ball. Chris Johnson stretches, goes to second. Bill Hall couldn't get a lot on the throw, and it's safe at first. Castro is forced from 5 to 4.
Now let's take a look at the Astros defensively. Jason Michaels gets his first start. He's out in left tonight as Carlos Lee moves into first base. Brent Wallace gets the night off, at least for the time being. Johnson, Sanchez, Hall round out the infield picture. Quintero is behind the plate for Brett Myers. That's the game plan. Have Q catch Myers. They teamed up well last year.
Marlon Byrd on an 8-game hitting streak at 349 has driven in 4. All 1 wide, dropped by Quintero. He keeps an eye on the runner there. Castro at first. Byrd with those very good figures you saw, the 349 average, boosted that a little bit last night with 2 hits and 2 runs batted in. Marlins hit .412 during his 8-game hitting streak. Myers gets a strike call from Bruce Dreckman, and it's a 1-1 count now. Myers has a career ERA of 2.21 against Chicago, 12 quality starts in 13 starts in his career against this club. Lined overhaul into right field. Hunter Pence over to play it. The Cubs have runners at first and second, and Bird has a 9-game hitting streak.
And Myers first faced the Cubs way back in 2002, so the names at the back of those jerseys have obviously changed, but for whatever reason, that Cub jersey brings out the best in Brett Myers. Man, you look at his line scores in the last 2 or 3 years against them. It's just spectacular.
It is. Aramis Ramirez with a turn towards second from Myers is waiting for the first pitch. He was 0 for 4 with a walk last night. Myers last year as an Astro started 4 times against the Cubs. Very solid in all. This fly ball heads for center, backs up Michael Bourne, turning and going back further. Now with a catch. Runners will have to hold on a long out number 2.
Perhaps part of the explanation of Myers' success against the Cubs, his ability to hold Ramirez down. Ramirez hitting just .216 off Brett prior to that swing of the bat. And that's with a lot of looks. 8 out of 38 now for Ramirez against Myers.
Carlos Pena was 0 for 2, drawing a pair of walks last night. Pena, 32 years old, born in the Dominican, but he went to college at Northeastern University in Boston.
They probably play better hockey than they do baseball, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Probably do. Haven't heard much about that school in baseball. Ball 1 to Pena. Pena was the 10th player drafted in the '98 draft. Texas Rangers drafting him. Fly ball up the right field line. Looks like it'll be foul in the corner. Hunter Pence over, and it is a foul ball.
A foul, but scary.
Yeah.
He got in on him, but Pena's strong and right down the line. And a lot of times in the ballpark, the way the wind pushes out to left, that ball might stay fair. But at least according to what Old Glory's saying out there, it's not the typical night game breeze here. A little calmer than it has been.
Yeah, that front moved through Monday morning and changed the wind pattern some.
Mostly blowing straight down.
Big cut of the curve. Now, speaking of down, here's a question for you. On Brett Myers, that's a good curveball, and Brett uses that pitch quite often effectively. He's being compared now by some to Curt Schilling when Curt acquired that polish with the Phillies. Do you see a basis for comparison there?
Not really.
Okay.
Schilling remained a power pitcher pretty much throughout his career. And Schilling, what I recall, was mid-90s fastball and splitter as a secondary pitch. Myers is a breaking ball pitcher. He throws a higher percentage of off-speed stuff, of breaking stuff, than just about any pitcher in the league, except for R.A. Dickey, a knuckleballer, and maybe 1 or 2 other guys. So Schilling, for me, was the guy who always relied on his fastball.
Yeah, Curt was the guy who'd still be dialing it up in the 7th inning, if memory serves.
Now, if you want to make the case that Schilling morphed from a thrower to a pitcher, and so has Myers, I guess you could make that case.
I think that was the basis. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Crisp breaking stuff from Brett Myers, limiting the Cubs to no runs, 2 hits, and leaving 2. Astros up against lefty James Russell, former Texas Longhorn, in a moment. Brought to you by Xfinity. And we see the Astros managed tonight, as we mentioned, by the bench coach Al Pedrique, with Michael Bourne in center. Angel Sanchez, who hit his first major league homer last night, at short. Hunter Pence in right. Carlos Lee at first base tonight. Jason Michaels in left field, getting his first start. Bill Hall at second. Chris Johnson at third. Humberto Quintero starting for the third straight time at catcher. And Brett Myers is the pitcher.
First major league start for James Russell. Worked out of the Cubs bullpen last year and a couple times this year already. 14th round pick out of UT in 07. Solid career up in Austin. And his dad, Jeff Russell, big leaguer, pretty darn good pitcher himself for about 10 years.
Michael Bourne bunts, and he's going to beat this one. Michael Bourne with a bunt hit. Darwin Barney has to come over and back up that throw as it trickles away. Just so well placed. He did that in BP today, and that one was in almost exactly the same spot as the one he put down in BP earlier.
Yeah, this is just a sweetheart of a bunt. Exactly what you're trying to do. Get it past the pitcher. Either force the second baseman to come in and make a play on it, or a first baseman make him have to make an early decision. Pena decides to go for it. Once he does, there's no way Russell's going to beat Bourne in the foot race.
Something Michael worked on throughout spring training. He was determined to get more bunt hits this season. He's aboard now for Angel Sanchez. Cranked that first major league homer last night into the Landry's Crawford boxes. 342 with a homer and 6 driven in for Angel. And that's strike one to it. And he got a pitch he could turn on last night. Most of his hits have come up the middle and to right center field, but that pitch was very much to his liking. And in the 7th inning, he went deep with a 2-run shot off Ryan Dempster, who was the winning pitcher. He pushes a bunt. Let's see if he can get there. Here's the toss, and Sanchez is safe. But he's down. He went in head first and slow to get up. Head athletic trainer Nate Lucero and tonight's skipper Al Pedrique out as the Astros get back-to-back bunt singles to open their first.
Sanchez pushes this one in the same direction. A drag bunt from Michael, push bunt from Sanchez, and he doesn't quite have the speed, so he has to go headlong to avoid the tag. Great hustle play by Angel. Just in ahead of that tag.
Okay, Russell's foot hit him on the batting helmet, it appeared. So he might be a little dazed. Okay, the jaw, nose might have gotten pushed into the ground. It's a bunt rally.
Yeah, go ahead, Hunter. Push one.
Wouldn't that be something? When's the last time you saw 3 straight bunt hits in a major league game? 293.
I'm going to go with never on that one.
Probably never, yeah. Russell missing, and the former Longhorn falls behind. 1 ball, no strikes.
Somewhere somebody said, boy, that Al Pedrique, he can really manage. He's breaking out the bunting game.
Hunter Pence in last night's game was 0 for 4. Reached on an error, drew a walk. And it's 2-0. Russell probably will not stay in for more than about 50 to 55 pitches because he has been working in relief. He was mostly a starter in the minor leagues, but this is his first major league start, and Mike Quaddy has his relief corps ready to go tonight. Pence hits one foul.
Russell did work as a starter in the minor leagues, part of his career. As he worked his way up through the system, he's got a real good changeup. With the 4 basic pitches, so he profiles as a starting pitcher to rely on just 1 or 2 pitches. Home run's a bit of a bugaboo for him last year.
Little tap goes foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, he gave up 11 in 49 innings last year.
The drag bunt, the push bunt, the swinging bunt. Unable to make the play there.
Got to have backup. Russell's worked only 2 innings in his first 2 relief appearances, but he's already 1-0. There's a shot into left field. Bourne is being waved home by Dave Clark. And he'll score to make it 1-0 on the RBI single by Hunter Pence. 6th run batted in for Pence.
Cubs got the jump on the Astros last night. 2 spot in the first, 2 more in the second. Ultimately had a 5-0 lead before the Astros got on the board. So a reversal of fortune here tonight. And boy, this is a situation where you don't want to settle for one. Put a crooked number up there.
Carlos Lee, the batter. Would love to be a part of that crooked number. There's strike one to a 225 hitting Lee. 1 homer, 5 runs batted in, making his first start at first base this season with Brett Wallace resting against the lefty Russell. Breaking pitch misses, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Russell, a 14th round pick in 07, was born in Cincinnati. Went to Navarro Junior College and the University of Texas. Listed at 6'4".
It's like somebody turned the wind on. We had that shot last half of the Flags just hanging limply out there. Now we've got our typical breeze pushing out to left field.
There it is. It just came in.
Who knew there was a switch for the wind? No idea.
Carlos looks at it. It's a ball. It's 2-2. Well, we had some viewer mail tonight on the pregame show, Astros Live. We enjoy answering those questions. One of the questions was about teams tailoring their home conditions to get an advantage. So maybe the Astros are working with the weatherman to get the wind.
Turn the wind on.
Only when they're batting, of course.
You've got to be really well connected to make that happen.
Well, you talked about the charges against the Twins. Clarence Biggs came up with this idea that the showers didn't work at Yankee Stadium when the Red Sox were there. Only for the Red Sox they didn't work, of course. Now the showers not working is something of a problem, but no hot water, that'd be a problem.
That's a true conspiracy theorist that thinks that was done on purpose.
And then, we were talking about other things that have been done through the years, and some teams, extremely fast teams, might tailor the baseline so the ball that rolls up the first or third base line will stay fair instead of rolling foul.
Yeah, if you got a good bunter. If you had Rod Carew on your team, you'd want that ball to stay fair.
That's pull foul.
And a lot of it is too, not just tailoring it, but that's one thing corner infielders should do on both the home and the road clubs. Come in and roll some balls out there and see how the ball is going to react. For the most part, most ballparks now, the way the grass is cut along the baseline, once it trickles off the grass, it's going to roll foul because the grass is so kind of thick, built up there.
Some teams with a lot of ground ball pitchers want the higher grass on the infield.
That was always the fight too, because you got to remember what the pitchers on one team want. The hitters on that same team want something completely different.
Yeah. Good point.
So if you're Mike Hampton and you're saying, hey, Willie Berry, put a little water down in front of home plate so that ball dies. When I throw my sinker, they beat it into the dirt in front of home plate, and then Biz comes on and says, hey, Willie, firm that up a little bit so when I hit it off the ground, it scoots into the outfield.
Strikeout for Russell. That's a big out, number 1 for him. But it's an expensive inning for pitch count for Russell.
Carlos will not be able to grouse about not getting a pitch to hit. He just missed it. One that he normally handles.
Jason Michaels gets his first start of the season. He drew a pinch walk in last night's game. 0 for 5 for Jason. Jason had a big spring, hitting .373 with 8 doubles, 2 homers, and 8 runs batted in.
Angel Sanchez had a huge secondary lead with that pitch, and now Barney going to tighten up a little bit, try to keep him a little bit closer. Keep an eye on him. If he gets that big secondary lead again, Soto might take a shot at him.
It's 2-0 to J. Mike. Of course, when the Astros came to spring training, Carlos Lee was prepared to work some at first base in case he was going to be mostly a first baseman this year. But Brett Wallace had a fine spring, won the job. Jason Michaels might have been playing more in the outfield if the other direction had been the case for the Astros, with Carlos at first. They would have needed someone to play left, and J. Mike probably would have gotten a lot of opportunities to do that. Those are some of the options available anyway. Bill Hall's on deck. You know, whether Brett Wallace had won the job or not, it just pays to have that flexibility gained from looking at Lee at first base in spring training. Brett's got to have a day off every now and then. J. Mike fouls it away. 2-2. We saw Joe Inglet in the starting lineup for Brad Mills last night at second base. And that's Brad's plan, and the plan of really almost every major league manager for these guys who have played quite a bit in spring training, is do not let them rot on the bench for the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season without at least starting one game. Soft pop to shallow left. Castro looks out to Soriano. Sanchez gets back, and he knew he had to hustle back.
He almost drifted a little too far. You got it right. He'd say, I had no problem.
Soriano had that play right in front of him and made the throw.
Sanchez reading this one off the bat, wants to give himself a chance to score in case that were to drop in, but make a pretty hasty retreat.
Bill Hall became a very popular guy last night. He can become even more popular here with Sanchez at second, Pence at first. He's on a 6-game hitting streak. One homer that came last night in a pinch hit roll off the right field foul pole. That was his 6th major league pinch home run, and it meant everybody got a chicken sandwich who was at the game last night. Everybody who brought their ticket stubs to Chick-fil-A today. Strike one to Bill. Last 4 at bats for Bill have yielded a triple. He's been hit by a pitch, hit a homer, and a single. He hit it right off that right field foul pole.
So he needs a double for the cycle?
Yeah, sort of. If we don't put a time limit on the cycle.
I think it's probably harder to do in this fashion coming off the bench.
Yeah,
just a flip of the wrist last night. That's why Ed Wade acquired him. A little pop. 35 home runs for the Brewers a few years back.
That was his first as an Astro. Now he's behind in the count, 0-2. Now Pedrique hoping he can come through here, and he takes the ball. 3 straight singles opened the inning for the Astros. Hall has hit 123 major league homers. 25 pitches have come from the left arm of Russell so far.
Should be able to get a good jump out there on the bases. 2 outs, 2 strikes, moving with the swing.
Good cut, and he fouls it back. Bill Hall, 31 years old, and it was Hall's slide into second base Friday night against the Florida Marlins. Hanley Ramirez injured on the play, which began a chain of events resulting in the 1-game suspension tonight of Brad Mills, because when Edward Mujica came in Sunday and hit Hall with a pitch, both teams were warned, and after that one of the Marlins was hit by a pitch. So that meant immediate ejection of the manager and the pitcher who did it, Nuri Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's kind of an unfair deal, really. Mujica got ejected after he hit Hall, but there's no suspension for he or the manager because the warning hadn't been issued yet.
Yeah,
it became an automatic suspension and ejection for Brad and for Rodriguez. And I guarantee you, Nuri Rodriguez wasn't throwing at anybody.
Hall liner to left. Sanchez is coming home, and it gets by Soriano. He throws into second. Hall jams on the brakes. They've got him if they execute. And now Pena. Now Hunter Pence is going to come home, but they missed the tag and he scored. They missed the tag on Hall, and the Astros have a 3-0 lead.
First, Soriano muffs the ball in the outfield. Then they blow the rundown play. Mike Quaddy wants to come out and have a talk. with Rob Drake about this one. Just missed it. Just missed it. A lot of just misses going on. Just beyond the reach of Castro, through the wickets on Soriano. We'll see the tag here as Hunter streaks home. Hall takes evasive action. Crank up the yakety sax for this one.
Barney to Pena, back to Barney. Now Hall sachets out of the way. Hunter Pence scores on it. It's interesting because there was a play similar to this in Cincinnati a few days ago when the Astros were on the road trip, and Michael Bourne had stopped at third, and there was a rundown for out number 3 in a similar fashion between first and second, and Michael stayed at third. This time Hunter Pence, when he saw that rundown, took off for home and wound up scoring.
And that's the play. That was a conversation that was had after that ball game. That told Michael, with 2 outs, you got to force them to make a play on you at home.
Chris Johnson looks at strike one.
Had the tag been applied, the run would not have counted because that tag was attempted prior to Hunter getting to home plate.
Yes. So Brett Myers has a lead. And it's 3-0 as strike 2 comes by Johnson.
Saul takes the big turn, and then after the blowout, the rundown's on. He's looking to make sure Hunter's going to try to score. There on Soriano. To give an error on the missed tag as well.
Yes.
Yeah. E7, E4.
Yeah. The E7 on Soriano gets Pence to third base. The E4 gets Hall to second base. And that would be Pence scoring also on that E. This fly ball heads for right. Hit pretty deep. Colvin backing for the count. And the Astros put together an inning starting with back-to-back bunts by Bourne and Sanchez. Pence with an RBI single. Hall with an RBI single. 2 errors and a 3-run inning.
Astros, and during this series against the Reds and Marlins, for every run the Astros scored, you now receive $2 off field box tickets for the game against the Padres this Saturday. The Astros reached the maximum runs, and tickets are now just $11. Visit astros.com/runs for tickets while supplies last. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. 3-0 Astros. Now Brett Myers versus Alfonso Soriano. And the fastball is up for ball 1. Soriano has 3 homers. He's driven in 7 runs with a .278 batting average. It's a crazy first inning for the Astros. 1 ball, 1 strike. Back-to-back bunt singles, then back-to-back errors by the Cubs.
Little things mean a lot. Astros are winning the battle of execution so far.
It's like the old John McKay line when he was coaching Tampa Bay. And the Bucks had lost about 21 straight games.
What do you say?
Good curveball for a strikeout. Strikeout number 2. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. First of all, let's see the tag or attempted tag on Bill Hall.
Yeah, we're going to show it to you in Fox mode. Really break it down. And with that look, it looks like he brushed him. It looks like got just a little bit of the jersey. Astros may have got a break there, but no real argument from Barney. That's surprising.
No. Rob Drake made the call. Strike 1 on Giovanni Soto.
Love the Drake.
Last night you said you hated the Drake.
That's the way it goes with the Drake.
Soto 0 for 4 in last night's game. Gets a curveball 0-2. Well, anyway, when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had that terrible losing streak, and there was a post-game press conference as usual with John McKay, and somebody said, what do you think of the execution of your team? He said, I think I'm in favor of it. Strikeout number 3.
Uncle Charlie's in the house, and he's looking awfully good. Strikeout pitch for Myers is that curveball.
Well, you're right about the curveballs for Myers. It's an awfully big pitch for him. He throws it reliably. Tyler Colvin with a homer, 5 runs batted in, has a 115 batting average. Kosuke Fukudome is sitting out with a left hamstring problem.
Fox Tracks brought to you by Steel, showing that Myers painting the corner there with the thin brush right on the edge.
Of course, major league hitters usually feast on fastballs, or at least they like to think they can, but sometimes not on the best fastballs. But Myers gives them a steady diet of breaking stuff.
Fastballs and bad breaking balls, and that's the thing with Myers. For a guy who throws so many, he rarely hangs one. And that's why a lot of pitchers over the years have put aside the curveball to throw the slider. It's a little bit easier pitch to control. You tend to make more mistakes with the bigger breaking ball, but that has not been an issue for Brett.
Bill Hall to his left. Gets it over to El Caballo. In the second, the Cubs go down, and it's 3-0 Astros. Inning, it'll be Quintero, Myers, and Bourne for the Astros. Fans enjoying just a wonderful evening. A nice breeze coming through the stadium. Ideal temperature, low humidity. Good night for eating.
Every night's a good night for eating. This is a good night for eating a lot. It's not so hot where you get uncomfortable. Norman number has to be a 10.
Oh. Gee, Norman was out here for the opener.
Right.
Alberto Quintero with a 190 average. 1 RBI has a pair of doubles. Ball 1 to Q, catching his 3rd straight game.
Hey, you got to watch out for Q. He likes to drop a bunt down every now and then.
And we're going to be wondering about things like, wonder what the Astros record is for bunt hits in a game. Well, we don't know. Don't even know if there's a way to look that up.
You got Duff going to the media guy, Duff. You're going to put him through it anyway.
That's right. 1 and 2. Baseball funny that way. There are records for so many different things that seem to be pretty trivial, but somebody keeps them. Myers is on deck. Upstairs from Russell, 2 and 2. Of course, Russell is in the rotation because of injuries to 2 different Cubs starters, Andrew Kashner and Randy Wells.
Yeah, a lot of reasons to like the Astros with this matchup tonight.
Coleman out to right. So, whoa! It got by him, and now it gets by Bird. And here's Quintero stopping at second base. He got thrown out trying for 3rd a few games ago. This time, it's double number 3.
Well, he learned his lesson. Plus, Clarkie was probably going into his boxing stance over there. It probably got cute. Instead of putting up the stop sign, just going to that sparring stance. That'll shut him down. Colvin completely misread this ball. Should have been an easy play for him. Q, to his credit, going hard all the way, giving himself a chance to get 3rd base. Should he have gotten the green light from his 3rd base coach?
And that was on Sunday when he was thrown out at 3rd, trying to stretch a double. And he had a pair of doubles in that game. Now another one. And Brett Myers is the batter. Myers 2 for 4. Astros pitchers are hitting very well this season.
Go ahead and swing it.
Yeah, he is. He took a cut. Pena was right and tight.
Yeah, I like this play because what's going on? Because Q's not a fast runner. The Cubs are really focusing on trying to make a play at 3rd base here. So they've got Castro essentially holding Q on at 2nd base. So they're not disguising their intention at all here. Pena, very good fielders coming hard. So I think situations is go ahead and swing it because 2 things happen. One, they're going to throw Q out at 3rd unless you get down a really good bunt. And then you start thinking about being real fine with the bunt because of the pressure, and you end up striking out.
Myers had a 2-hit game in his opener at Philadelphia. Jay Happ's had a 2-hit game. Nelson Figueroa's had a 2-hit game. And you saw it all added up to a 389 pitcher's batting average for the Astros.
This is interesting. They're absolutely conceding the shortstop hole to Myers here. Even with 2 strikes, Castro basically holding Q on, now backing off just a little bit. Last pitch he did not.
Foul ball keeps him in the count at 0-2 on a changeup. Russell at 41 pitches, and that is not a good sign for Mike Quade. Realizing, of course, that Russell was limited on the number of pitches he could throw, having been a reliever. But the pitch count's been high. Flared over first base, up the right field line. Colvin with the run. It's in for a hit. Quintero to 3rd base on a looping single by Myers. Myers is 3 for 5 this season.
Consider James Russell's fate so far tonight. Bunt single in the 1st. Q's fly ball that should have been caught turns into a double. Now this swing of the bat produces a base hit.
Yeah, 2 errors behind him.
Yeah, a couple of errors. This is just first major league start. That's a big time hang with him.
Last night it was the Cubs firing out of the gate, getting 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th for a 5-0 lead, and then hanging on to win 5-4. Michael Bourne started the Astros first with a bunt single. Ramirez in tight. Pena's moving in from first. Bourne looks at strike one. Michael had 10 bunt hits last year, 17 the year before. A strike call makes it 0-2.
Didn't have to be.
The Astros have been outscored by their opponents in the first 3 innings of their games by 15 runs so far this season. Reversing that trend tonight so far. Carlos Zambrano goes for the Cubs tomorrow night against Wandy Rodriguez. That'll be another My 20 telecast tomorrow night. Their time 7 o'clock. And the San Diego Padres open a 4-game series Thursday night.
Situation here with 2 strikes where they're trying to get Michael to spread out a little bit, maybe move up in the box a little bit. And do that.
Castro plays the deflection onto second to get the force play. Quintero coming home, and Bourne will get his 3rd RBI of the season to make it 4-0. And Castro had to stop. He was moving to his left, come back to his right. Then he lost his footing, but got the throw on to second to Barney.
Deflection off the glove of Russell, and then Castro has to make the adjustment. And lucky for him, he had the pitcher running. But that's a great example of what we were talking about last night when Michael was up there with 2 strikes and he ended up swinging and missing at the curveball. Just put the ball in play. Good things can happen, especially when you're as fast as he is.
He just showed how it can happen. He draws a throw here. Angel Sanchez, the batter, he bunted for his single. Well, we have the guys in Castro and Sanchez in the starting lineup for the Cubs and Astros tonight, who are ranked 4th and 5th in batting average by National League shortstops in the early days of this season. Myers has at least a 4-run lead before he takes the mound again, and there's a strike. These 2 teams, as you know, play each other often 15 times this year. And they're almost dead even since September of 08 in head-to-head play. Cubs have won 21. The Astros have won 20 since September of 08. Jeff Samardzija is warming up in the bullpen. Snap throw to first.
Doing everything he can to tighten up the lead, and Michael Bourne over there at first base.
Six hits for the Astros. Bourne takes off. There's a throw. Big jump. They had no chance. Soto really had no opportunity to get him whatsoever, and Bourne is 3 for 3 this season in steals.
See the jump there, going on first move, and Russell was coming home. No chance whatsoever for Mr. Soto.
Now 1-1. Bourne stealing into scoring position. He takes off for third. Big jump here, and the throw is high. Back-to-back steals for Michael Bourne.
That's fun to watch, and that's the whole key. Put the ball in play, get on base, and use your wheels. One look from Russell, no look back, and Michael was off to the races. Great read on both of those stolen bases. Now the Cub infield has to come in.
Sanchez loops one foul on the 50th pitch by Russell already. Well, Mike Quaddy's on the horns of a dilemma here. And that may affect tomorrow night's game. 50 pitches, 36 of them strikes for Russell. Popped up. Barney backpedaling. And Bourne will just fake a dash toward the plate, try to draw a throw. 2 outs.
As part of our Fox Sports Supports charitable initiative, we are proud to wear these pins during our 2011 MLB on Fox Sports Houston season to support Stand Up to Cancer and their work to fund groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. For more information, please visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. That's standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports.
Hunter Pence with an RBI single tonight. Takes strike 1. The Astros offense has really picked up. 4 straight games of 10 hits or more. And 6 already in this one. All the way 0-2.
A little different story this year than last year. The Astros slow start primarily because they couldn't score runs. They have not been an offensive juggernaut this year, but they've been halfway decent offensively. Pitching really struggled early. Hunch is if they continue to score the way they've scored here the first 10 days, pitching will come around. They'll be okay.
Carlos Lee's on deck. Chopper over the mound. Backhanded volley, throws on the run, safe at first, and Bourne scores. Oh, the speed has really done some damage. Hunter beats out an infield hit for an RBI single, scoring the speedy Michael Bourne.
Yeah, you know, if you hit the middle of the order, you love guys like Bourne because they create run scoring or RBI opportunities for you, getting themselves into position. Great example of it there. Base hit, but he doesn't get that RBI if Bourne's not standing on third. Barney makes a nice play, but Pence can really get down the line.
It's a pair of RBI singles for Hunter. And the call to the bullpen is presented by Verizon Wireless. It's Houston 5, Chicago nothing. Back in a moment. Outscored by 15. Now have it down to -10 because they lead 5-0.
A lot of low numbers on that board. Mariners making a lot of birdies this weekend.
Jeff Samardzija with an ERA of 9 has had big time control problems with 8 walks in 3 innings. He had 4 walks in 1 inning Saturday at Milwaukee. Facing Carlos Lee.
Former first-round pick with a good arm. High expectations. Things have not panned out yet for the big guy.
He throws hard. Former Notre Dame wide receiver. Signed a 5-year, $10 million deal after the Cubs drafted him in the 5th round in 06. Last year he had an ERA of 8.28 for Chicago in just 7 games. It's 2-0.
Spent time in the big leagues with the Cubs in 08 and in 2009 and last year, but not really able to get steady work at the big league level.
Well, one would think that his goal as he goes to 3-0 on Carlos Lee would be to put the ball for Giovanni Soto where Brady Quinn put it for him. Just some great spots to catch. Beautiful night out there.
There you go.
There's one up. 3-1. Samardzija spent a month in the Mexican League last fall working on a breaking pitch. Russell threw 55 pitches. Rocked to center field. And caught by Bird. The Astros come up with 2 runs in the 2nd inning. Again, they're hustling. They're running the bases. And the speedy guys are making the Cubs pay. Quintero gets to second base with a double. Comes around after Myers singles him to third. Michael Bourne, 2 stolen bases. Hunter Pence an RBI hit. For these folks, and they take a step away, check out the iPhone with all those new hot spots from AT&T in this ballpark. Meanwhile, back to action, and it's strike 1 to Jeff Samardzija. 1 major league homer, a .200 average, and 2 runs batted in for Samardzija. Russell in 1 2/3 innings allowed 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, with no walks, 1 strikeout. Threw 55 pitches, 40 of them strikes. And that's a strike. Strikeout number 4 for Myers. Well, the Astros have used their speed to generate some early run support for Brett Myers here against the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs won it last night with early runs, 5-4. The Astros trying to do a payback, and they have a leg up on that with their own 5-0 lead. Starlin Castro led off the game with a single to left field. Cubs leadoff hitters are hitting .488 this year. There's ball 1. They are 6th in the league in runs scored coming into this game tonight, averaging 4.3 runs per game.
Pretty aggressive bunch are the Cubs. They, like the Astros, don't draw a lot of walks. They have more power And then the Astros do, so they do have that ability to come back on you, but they don't draw a lot of walks. You have to string some hits together. You hit a ball or two out of the ballpark, you would think.
2 balls and a strike. As you see Fox Tracks. And last night Fox Tracks showed us the amazing ability of Starlin Castro to get his bat on the ball when those pitches were all over both sides outside the strike zone. Len Casper, who does the Cubs play-by-play on television, was saying that Castro went through a period this season of 35 swings without missing.
So kind of like Tejada.
Yeah. Good comparison. Puts this one in the air to right center field. Bill Hall gives way to Hunter Pence. 2 outs.
First, Baggy would point out that sometimes you're better off missing than putting a pitcher's pitch into play. Hit a meek little ground ball somewhere, going to miss, and then mistake something you can drive.
Yeah, Jeff brought up a good point on that on Saturday, and he'll be on the air with us again next Saturday, of course. Darwin Barney bounced into a force play earlier. His ball 1. Josh Hamilton of the Rangers is to be out from 6 to 8 weeks with an injured shoulder.
Yeah, I read where he got hurt today. Didn't know it was that severe.
Well, they didn't know until today when they got the x-rays back. The fracture did not show up initially, but it did show up on an MRI.
He's got a broken arm.
Yeah, non-displaced fracture of the humerus bone. Loop to center field, and Michael Bourne is there. And that's a 1-2-3 third for Brett Myers, a 5-0 lead for the Astros. Hey, baseball fans, Chevy is a proud sponsor of youth baseball programs throughout the state of Texas. If you would like to learn more about Chevy's commitment to youth league baseball programs, visit your local Chevy dealer. Great story, I thought, on Astros Live pregame show tonight. Patty Smith is putting together a show on Michael Bourne. And Michael and his father were telling the story about going to games in the Astrodome. And Michael would yell at Kevin Bass, and Kevin, of course, never paid any attention to him.
Yell at him as in, you're my favorite guy, or come on, KB, make a play.
No, I don't think he was getting on him. He just wanted some recognition. And, yeah, he was his favorite type guy, that kind of thing. And Patty can fill us in as Jason Michaels bats. Here's the 0-1 to Jason. And he grounds to third. Aramis Ramirez across. So, Patty, tell us what happened tonight.
Well, it was pretty cool because I'm standing out here in center field with Kevin Bass, and we had the meeting. They got together, and I know it was an honor for you, Kevin, as well, because Michael hollered your name for so long as a kid. You dissed him, you blew him off, but today you made his dream come true.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting. It was exciting for me. I've been watching him from afar, watch him on TV just like everybody else. But to hear the fact, that I was one of his favorite players, and that he would come out to these games and be yelling and screaming, I'd never acknowledge him. I thought it was pretty funny.
It was very cool. And for that and for being out here, Kevin is our progressive fan of the game, so you get this. But I got to tell you guys, keep your eye on us because we're going to stay out here. And Kevin is going to holler at Michael Bourne and see if he turns around and acknowledges him. So keep an eye on us. That's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, that's beautiful. Bill Hall with strike one. And the RBI single his first time up to left field. Nice of KB to come to the ballpark and take part in that tonight. Meet Michael and his dad.
KB probably went out and shot a 74 this afternoon before heading to the ballpark.
Yeah. Well, that was a good moment for this game.
I practiced. I worked on my game today. And it was a good practice session, but that doesn't mean anything.
And you play just about every day, though, don't you?
Well, of course I do. What else is there to do?
Come on out here to the ballpark.
That or work. Okay, so, you got to substitute one for the other. I mean, come on.
All right, well, we're happy to have you out here working with us.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Kevin says he would have loved to have been able to play out here at this ballpark.
Oh,
man,
yeah.
this is, I'd have loved to play out here. I mean, this is roof closed or open. I mean, it's just a beautiful ballpark. I think just the whole setting, the atmosphere, it's real baseball. I mean, it's true baseball. Not to say the Dome wasn't, but you see the short Crawford boxes over here, this cavernous little center field area right here. I mean, the beautiful green grass. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, and then don't let him kid you guys. Then the next breath, he went on to tell me he doesn't like to play in any wind. He liked the Astrodome where it was all controlled conditions.
That's
so
true.
You're fickle.
That is true. No, I'm fair weather.
He's at least honest.
Well, it's fair weather tonight. He picked a great night to come out. The pitch was up to Bill Hall, sailed back to the backstop. And now Samardzija gets a strikeout. But Kevin Bass was the type of hitter, and of course the Astrodome was suitable to his talents. Patty shot some balls in the gaps for doubles and triples, and he would have that opportunity here.
Yeah, they're talking, Kevin, about you, how suitable the Dome was for you, but with all those gaps and everything, you could probably make some headway here as well. I could.
The Crawford boxes, of course, is the big deal. I mean, that's a short porch out there. But as a ex-player, you kind of figure things out how pitchers are going to want to pitch you. When they came to the Dome, they came right at you because they knew that, hey, here it is, hit it. If you can hit it out, tip your cap, more power to you. But in a situation like this, a close left field, as a left-handed hitter, chances are they probably maybe throw you a little bit in harder, more so. Kind of gives you an idea of where they're going to pitch you and how they're going to pitch you. So I think for me, that would have really helped me out to hit here. And it gives you a chance to figure out what they're trying to do to you as a player.
Right-handed KB would have been taking a shot at those Crawford boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
He'd have been turning.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and then, of course, on the other side, defensively, you got to cover all those nooks and crannies.
Yeah, defensively, but you got to remember, I was out in that corner over there, so I let that fast guy, Gerald Young and Billy Hatcher, those guys like that cover all this. And particularly, playing left field is so easy, short porch.
All right, keep your eye on us, guys.
All right, Patty. Strikeout for Samardzija. He fanned Hall and then Johnson, and it's still 5-0 Houston. leading the Cubs behind Brett Myers and behind some hustling offensive play. A total of 7 Houston hits. We go to the 4th inning, and it's Bird, Ramirez, and Pena to bat for Chicago. Marlon Byrd single to right in the first. This one goes to right center. Michael Bourne over, diving. It gets behind him and rolls all the way to the warning track, where Hunter Pence picks it up on a double by Bird, his 6th of the year.
Not a bad time to leave your feet as a center fielder. You know you've got coverage on either side with a corner outfielder coming to provide a little support. If you're a corner outfielder and the ball's down the line and you leave your feet, there's nobody there to help you out. The sinking line drive, Michael thought he had a shot at it. Came up short. An extra base gained by Bird. But, you know, you got to try to make plays.
Laid out. Now there's ball 1 to Ramirez, who hit a fly ball to center. And that was a big early out for Myers because he had 2 men on at the time. And that was out number 2 as he hit the ball to center and went down on 1 pitch for Brett. This one in the air to right center. And Kevin Bass is standing out there at the ConocoPhillips pump. Let's see what he had to say on that diving attempt by Michael Bourne.
Prime reason why you don't look back.
As you said, that's why you don't look back. He's going to be mad at you.
He's going to blame me.
Ultimately, that means he's going to blame me.
That's right. No, he had a good jump. It's just couldn't catch it. But it wasn't my fault.
I know. Well, we did. We hollered. Kevin hollered, and he didn't look back. At the very last second, he looked back, and lo and behold.
Took his eye off the ball.
Distraction.
There you go. See, there you go, little leaguers. Never take your eye off the ball.
And that's why Kevin Bass did not recognize Michael Bourne's attempts to get his attention in the dome. Strike 1 to Carlos Pena. Yeah, it's a good idea to keep your eye on the baseball when it's being pitched and you're playing center field. One ball, 1 strike. Tommy Hansen of the Braves is dialing it up tonight, beating Florida with 7 innings of shutout ball. 5-0 Atlanta. Hanley Ramirez is back in the lineup for the Fish. Jason Hayward hit his 3rd home run. Brian McCann his 1st for the Braves. Bill Hall from right field throws to Carlos Lee, safe at first. Do you call it an infield hit?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to mark my scorebook on that one.
Well, that's an awfully long infield hit out to right center field for Carlos Pena.
He actually overplayed this one a little bit, had to reach back for it, and was back on his heels as he made that throw. Otherwise, he may have gotten him. Would have been able to get a little bit more on it.
Soriano struck out earlier. Runners at 1st and 3rd, 1 out now. Strike to Soriano. Cubs are 5-5. They're in a 3-way tie in the NL Central for 2nd place with Milwaukee and Pittsburgh right now. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cincinnati Reds setting the early pace. The Cardinals got 2 homers from Lance Berkman last night in Arizona, both opposite field shots, batting left-handed. Soriano let it go, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Tampa Bay 3, Boston 2 in the bottom of the 6th at Fenway. Darnell McDonald connected for his 1st home run for the Red Sox. Fouled away by Soriano. It's 2-2 to Alfonso. Kansas City and Minnesota tied 1-1 in the 4th.
Just from the fastball up and out of the plate a little bit. Soriano just a little bit behind it, but that's a pitch you got to be careful with. Numbers have been down in recent years, but he still has serious pop in that bat.
3-2 now. A note on Brad Arnsberg, the pitching coach, who's become so close with Brett Myers from Sports Illustrated's baseball preview issue, that Arnsberg had such good success with A.J. Burnett, Brad Penny in Florida, Roy Halladay in Toronto. Popped up foul. Carlos Lee comes over. Quintero is there, but Carlos up against the rail takes care of out number 2. And according to the Sports Illustrated line, Arnsberg has no life because his attention to video is unlike anything I've ever seen.
That's Myers' line on Brad?
No, that's the writers. The writers line.
Yeah, he does. But that's a pretty good group of alums he's got there from the Brad Arnsberg Pitchers Finishing School.
Bet it is. 2 down, and it's Giovanni Soto now. Looking at ball 1 from Myers. Myers with 2 quality starts, 2 no decisions. Gave up 1 earned run in 7 innings at Philadelphia. 2 earned runs in 6 1/3 at Cincinnati. One ball and 1 strike. And the big reason that Myers signed his contract extension to stay with Houston is the pitching coach, Brad Arnsberg. Two and 1.
Yeah, I wonder if there'll ever come a day where a player will have a coach clause in his contract. You fire the coach and become a free agent.
Yeah, that's interesting. 2 and 2.
Like they do in college, right? When the basketball or the football coach moves along, sometimes they'll release the kids from the scholarship.
Yes. That's fair.
That's some pretty good leverage if you're a pitching coach. Guys start writing that into their contract.
Curveball missing. Myers was heading for the dugout. It's 3 and 2. Bruce Dreckman is the home plate umpire tonight.
It was number 5 on our Fox tracks, just off the corner. Dreckman got it right, according to our technology. Middle away and down has been the pattern.
Little roller goes to third. To Hopper. Chris Johnson with the throw. Kevin Bass was trying to get the attention of Michael Bourne, and then Marlon Byrd doubled. But
Hey,
Byrd...
Michael! I'm here! Hey, Michael Bourne! Hey, Michael, it's Kevin Bass!
Byrd was
Michael
stranded at
Bourne,
third, and it's 5-0 Houston.
Board looks pretty good too. 5-0 Astros lead, bottom of the 4th. This Friday, Padres are in town. 7:05 game. It's Jackie Robinson night. First 10,000 fans will receive a Jackie Robinson T-shirt presented by Chevrolet. All players, coaches will wear Jackie's number 42, and you can visit Astros.com/Jackie for a special ticket offer.
San Diego here for that game. Humberto Quintero led off the second inning with a double. Came around to score. There's ball one from Jeff Samardzija. Samardzija has retired 4 in a row. He entered the game in the second inning with Hunter Pence at first and retired Carlos Lee. The appeal went to first. Check swing called by Paul Emmel. 2 balls, no strikes. It's the Nationals 6, the Phillies 1. They played 7 at Washington in their first meeting of the season. Ryan Howard hit his 3rd home run. Jason Worth, the former Philly, number 2, as he comes back to haunt. 2 balls and a strike. The Phillies pitchers have not given up a first inning run yet this season, and that held true again tonight. But the Nationals have pitched well. They have allowed 3 runs or less in 6 of their 9 games. That's tied for the fewest by any team in baseball. And that'd be a little feather in their cap if they could knock off the Phillies. 2-2 for Jeff Samardzija from Merrillville, Indiana.
Who's doing all that good pitching for the Nationals?
Let's see.
Levon?
Yeah, Levon's done some.
Levon tonight. Pitched very well.
We're going to have to check on that. They don't have Strasburg. Craig Stammen might have made a start or 2 for them.
The crafty lefty, John Lannon.
Oh yeah, John Lannon. Yeah. That's the first walk of the ball game for the Cubs. And we go to Greg Lucas.
Well, it is time now for our AT&T Trivia Challenge. And our question today, in this long, illustrious Major League Baseball history, only 4 players have hit 500 or more home runs and had 3,000 hits. Who are they? That's the question.
3,000 hits and 500 homers.
4 guys.
Only 4 in all of baseball history.
Brett Myers fouls it back off the screen. Strike 1. Boy, isn't that a combination?
Did Henry Aaron get to 3,000 hits?
Well, I was trying to think about that.
You have 1.
Okay.
Mantle did not.
No. I don't know.
No Yankee did. Ruth didn't. Garrick didn't.
I don't know if Mays had 3,000 hits.
That's 2.
Okay, he did.
Yeah,
okay.
I like how we're getting a positive response to our negative answers.
I'm counting them. I count them. Those are correct answers.
As long as we say the name, whether we're committed to it or not.
Pena throws to second and gets the force play on Quintero on the bunt by Myers. Ted Williams, did he get 3,000 hits?
No, I think in the last 2, you've got to think more recently with the bigger schedule.
Okay.
3,000. How about Eddie Murray?
That is 3.
Ooh. Nice, JD.
Eddie Murray.
Pena with a good, accurate throw to Castro there for the 3-6 force play. Now Michael Bourne, who scored 2 runs tonight, has a hit, an RBI, 2 steals.
I'll give you a clue on the last one. He probably won't make the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. Rafael Palmeiro.
That's it. We'll show you officially the whole list and the numbers, I think, in just a few moments.
Thanks, Greg. You're a kinder moderator than Alex Trebek.
I know.
He doesn't give you any clues or anything.
I know. I'm counting that as you guys got it right.
Well, there's money on the line when Trebek is working.
My wallet is empty. All right, here's the official foursome. And Aaron, Mays, Palmeiro, and Murray. Aaron had the most hits and homers. And then second was Mays, 660 and 3283. Palmeiro had the most homers, but Murray had a few more hits. Murray just got in, 504 homers.
And Williams would have gotten there without his military service, I'm guessing, right? I mean, how many hits did he end up with?
Yeah, he missed about 4 years, and he would have made it. But it was tougher for those guys. I mean, you'd think Babe Ruth with a lifetime 342 average didn't have 3,000 hits. Well, he was walked a lot.
Yeah,
right. It's going to be interesting to see how history treats some of these guys. As you pointed out, during the steroid era, a lot of people are concerned about the Manny Ramirez situation and what that means to baseball. I think about it the other way, Greg. I think, no, this is proof that testing is working.
I think the real judgment is going to be 20 years from now if standards change and someone says, hey, look at these numbers.
Exactly.
Or some entrepreneur opens a second Hall of Fame for people who can't get in the first one.
and I guess probably the most difficult thing to do would be try to project a player's career without any help.
True. Line, left field line, poke toward the corner, slicing, and a fair ball into the corner. Here comes Myers to third, and right on his heels into second, Michael Bourne on a double for Bourne. That's 6 doubles already for Michael.
JB's probably really excited now. Michael, good at bats all night tonight. 3 times up, 3 solid at bats. Again here, quiet lower body, using the hands, making sure he puts the ball in play. Good things will happen for Michael. Cut down on the swings and misses.
Well, that was a good super slow-mo look at that swing. Taking the ball to the opposite field. He's the league leader in doubles. And now the infielders move in with Sanchez the batter. They're in halfway. Angel 1 for 2. A bunt single his first time up. And fouls that one away. Strike 1.
Ted Williams finished his career with 2,654 hits. So, yeah, without the service time, he would have gotten there. Can actually make a case without the service time that he may have gotten to 714 and 715 and past Ruth.
Now the Barry Bonds trial went through its 3rd day today, as you know, of jury deliberations anyway. 1-1. Your point earlier applies to Bonds. Many people think, well, he would have been a Hall of Famer with the path that he was on prior to what's been documented.
Yeah, there's no way of knowing exactly when a guy started, but you know, you get a sense if you look at the numbers.
Line shot right center field. That'll score Myers and Bourne. A 2-run single for Sanchez, who's lighting it up here in April. And a 7-0 Houston lead. 2 hits tonight for Angel. He's driven in 8 runs this year.
It's kind of like a couple of days ago when the top of the order really lit it up. And it's been the case tonight as well. Bourne, Sanchez, Pence all having big nights.
Angel, the club leader in runs batted in. Out of the number 2 spot in the order. He is really cashing in on this playing time, as he did last year. Mark Riggins, the pitching coach, out. Cubs are really strapped because they had to use the reliever, or they chose to use the reliever, James Russell, to start this game, and he went 1 2/3 innings. Hunter Pence is 2 for 2, 2 runs batted in, a run score. Last night they used 3 relievers. Ryan Dempster went 6 1/3. John Grabo, Sean Marshall, Carlos Marmol worked in relief. There's strike 1. You know, with their situation, Randy Wells served them well last season. He's on the disabled list. Andrew Kashner's on the DL. So they've lost 2 of their 5 starting pitchers right at the same time.
I'll be wishing right about now that they'd called the starter up from AAA.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Whether they would think about doing that the next time through the rotation. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rather than to use only relievers in a game. There's the damage at the top. Total of 9 hits for the Astros. You know, Hunter Pence was sort of going through displaying how to hit to the opposite field last night, and he gave it that motion with the back of his hand. And that's kind of what it looked like with Michael Bourne hitting it down the left field line. Just kind of push the back of your hand out away from your body.
We'll just talk about staying through the ball. Contrary to that swing right there. See that one he pulled off. You can see that front shoulder fly open.
It'd be like a backhand in tennis. That kind of a stroke. Poke to second. Barney comes in. Goes to second. Whoa! Castro made a spectacular play on a bad throw that took him into the runner for the force play on Sanchez. Jeff Stevens is warming up for the Cubs now.
Let's see if Castro does indeed get the bag here. Pretty fancy footwork with the throw from Barney. He hurries the throw and pulls him inside a little bit. Castro does a nice job reaching across to get it. Did he get the bag? No. Safe. That's a tough call for the umpire to make. When players make bad plays, it puts umpires in bad positions. It just takes them out of their rhythm. You got one guy sliding, another guy diving. But at the end of the day, that was a missed call.
Rob Drake.
Hate the Drake.
You're alternating on
going
him.
Back and forth.
Serious.
It's a mess.
Carlos Lee.
That's a tough call. That's when strange things happen, it gets tough.
Samardzija throws it low and gets lead. And in the fourth inning, the Astros add to their lead with 2 runs, 2 hits. They leave a man, and after 4, it's 7-0 Houston.
Is brought to you by Whataburger, by Gullo Automotive, by AT&T, and by Sonic.
On this gorgeous night at Minute Maid Park, it is 7-0 Astros. Tyler Colvin leads it off, and first pitch to him here in the 5th inning is ball 1 from Brett Myers. Colvin grounded out earlier. Detroit down Texas today with a run in the 9th, 5-4, giving Jose Valverde the win. Roll to first. Carlos Lee tossing. Myers is right there. 1 out. So the Texas Rangers now 9-2 with their 9-1 start in the first 10 games. They equal the best start for 10 games by a team that had been to the World Series the year before. Now the pitcher spot coming up, and Samardzija is going to be batting for the 2nd time. He was a strikeout victim back in the 3rd. Looking. Myers has fanned 4 and has not walked a man. He's thrown 57 pitches. 37 have been strikes. In the air, and Quintero comes back on deck circle area, but that one's back into the crowd. Russell, the starter for the Cubs, threw 55 pitches in 1 2/3 innings.
Yeah, Mike Quaddy, I'm sure, wasn't expecting a whole lot out of Russell tonight in terms of innings, but probably, certainly hoping to get a little bit more than that. He had some tough luck.
Big breaking pitch, gets strike 2.
Marjek got that first pitch fastball, took a pretty healthy cut at it, but he's likely not to see that again. Especially with that swing at the curveball.
We have postponements tonight. 2 in New York, Baltimore and the Yankees, Colorado and the Mets.
What are the Mets and the Yankees doing home at the same time?
That's a good question. And Milwaukee at Pittsburgh postponed. Another curveball. Maybe he shouldn't have taken that good swing at that fastball.
This day in Astros history is brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. April 12, 1970. The Astros hammer the Braves 8-3, hitting 5 home runs. The most memorable being Jimmy Wynn's blast into the upper reserve seats in the 3rd inning. I remember it well.
You do?
Yeah.
In 1970?
Yeah, I was 10 years old. I was watching the game on the baseball channel. Dad, here comes the toy cannon.
Ball 1 to Castro. He is 1 for 2. Wasn't that a great nickname, though, provided by sports writer John Wilson? The toy cannon.
Yeah. Well, I think the sports writers generally do a better job pinning monikers on players than other players do.
Bill Hall dives, smothers it, rolls over, throws on a hop, safe at first. Oh, Paul Emmel had to spoil it by calling him safe. Good effort by Hall.
Yeah, outstanding effort by Bill Hall. And has that look about him and said, yeah, I wanted to call him out. It's such a pretty play, but I got to call what I see.
That's right.
He saw safe.
Just kidding, Paul.
What a great effort. Popping up.
Oh, wait a minute now.
He said he's got to call what he sees. Doesn't mean he saw it right.
Oh.
Looked like he missed it. That's a bang banger, but looked like he missed it.
And Bill Hall is robbed of the highlight reel. Darwin Barney takes ball 1.
Yeah, do you have to get the guy out to get the highlight reel?
I think you have to get him out, or you don't make it. But I really think there should be a separate highlight reel for blown calls by umpires.
Could have been, yeah. Would have made, would have been. Just missed. On your late local news.
That was a spectacular effort. One ball, 2 strikes for Brett Myers. Love that super slow-mo we have this year. It's Foxmo, JD. I erred in the terminology. Foxmo is what we have.
It's Foxmo, but it's really super slow.
Yeah.
Foxmo.
Super slow Foxmo. Popped up, back out of play. We're now going to see the Foxmo camera.
That's Fox Cam.
Fox Cam, okay. I don't see Foxmo on the camera, do you? Mike Brady knows. He knows what he's running. He's running the Foxmo camera. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, that's great, though. In this sport, well, football's great, too, for the slow replays. Hockey, but this sport also lends itself extremely well to slowing things down like that.
Quite like pairs figure skating, but close.
Who would be in the pairs figure skating Hall of Fame? Any idea?
Randy Gardner and Ty Babylonia.
Oh, they were spectacular.
JoJo Starbuck and Terry Bradshaw.
Torval and Dean.
Torval and Dean. Will Ferrell. And that other guy.
Oh, that was memorable.
Was it Blades of Glory? Is that what that was?
I think so, yeah. Out to shortstop. There's a pick by Sanchez. And the toss to Hall. No runs are hit. A man left. The Astros having an enjoyable night of it. 7-0.
And alumni night continues. Of course, I've been hanging out with Kevin Bass all night. I am now in the Insperity Club with Joe Sambito and his lovely wife, Jennifer. And, Joe, this is the place to watch the game. I should know because these used to be my seats.
This is beautiful. The last time I was here, this was a press box. They didn't allow me in. But somehow I got a seat in here tonight.
Somehow we got in, and there's all kinds of just great stuff up here. In fact, Jeff Van Gundy's behind me, Rusty Harton's behind me, so it's a kind of a who's who. But, Joe, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
Well, from the time I stopped playing, I've been in the agent business, and I'm still doing that.
And are we looking at anybody in particular or here for anyone special today?
Well, I have one client on the Cubs team, Casey Coleman. He's a pitcher, but he's not going to pitch here in Houston. But I happen to be in town, so I'll see him tomorrow.
And of course, we talked to Kevin Bass, and he talked about how much he would have loved to play here as a hitter. How about your thoughts as a pitcher?
Well, I was pretty happy in the Astrodome. That was a great place for a young pitcher to grow up, and I remember that, and I'm very grateful for it.
All right, well, it's always good catching up with you. Enjoy the rest of your night. And, guys, I'm going to send it back up to you.
Thank you, Patty. Jason Michaels, the batter. 2-1 the count for Jeff Samardzija. And it's 2-2 with the Astros leading 7-0. J. Michael for 2 tonight.
Joe Sambito in 1979 and a 1.77 ERA. 22 saves, 8 wins.
Fly ball. And the Cubs are trying to converge on it. Castro gives way, and Bird is there. Yeah, he was terrific.
1980, 2.19 ERA. Was an all-star in 79. Boy, pitched a lot of innings out of the bullpen.
He sure did. Things were different back then, as you know. A wind might be causing problems, but Bird took over.
Well, easier play for the guy coming in. Infielders have to pursue until they're run off by the outfielder, but at the end of the day, the outfielder takes priority. And really, it's his responsibility, too. Sometimes you see an outfielder yield and force the infielder to make a difficult play. If you can get it, come and get it.
Strike to Bill Hall. He's 1 for 2. You know, Joe Sambito was a 17th round draft choice in 1973.
Out of Adelphi University.
You got it. And he thought he would go much earlier than that in the draft. He was very, very disappointed. Ground ball goes foul. Let's take a look earlier at Bill Hall's play. And there you see the ground ball by Castro, and he gets it over to first on our Doing More on Defense feature, brought to you by the Home Depot. And the call was not what Astros fans wanted to see from Paul Emmel. Very close call. And it was ruled safe at first. Castro got the infield hit. Paul really got him. 1 and 2. So Joe Sambito's arm was killing him at the time of the draft. But the Astros drafted him low, and then they wanted him to throw one more time before they signed him. So he did. And they signed him based on that session. But a lot of scouts were worried about his arm. And that's why he fell so low in the draft. So after he signed, he went ahead to play in rookie ball. And he was kind of hoping for a lot of downtime so his arm would get stronger. But he had to pitch. And they called him up to Double-A. He had to pitch a game there. And then he got hurt, came out of the game, and had about a month off. And that's what he needed. Needed the rest. After that, he was great. Fly ball right center field. Long run, Marlon Byrd up, and he makes the catch on Bill Hall's deep drive for the second out.
Well, Bill Hall got off to a very slow start this year, but really starting to show signs of life lately. Had the pinch home run yesterday, hitting the ball in that right center alley with authority a few times now in recent games. Pretty good Marlon Byrd play here, robbing him of a double, possible triple. Byrd coming way in for the first one and then retreating deep to the Astros bullpen. Getting to see a lot of Minute Maid Park center field tonight.
Foul ball, Chris Johnson, who's 0 for 2. Behind the count, 0-1.
Samardzija doing a nice job hanging in there for Mike Quade, eating some innings, taking some heat off the bullpen. And that's what they, in Mike Quade's mind right now. He still is thinking about trying to win this game, but he's also got tomorrow night in mind. Kind of a circle the wagons mentality. His closer, Carlos Marmol, threw over 30 pitches last night, so his availability may be in question for tonight to begin with.
Joe Sambito mentioned Casey Coleman, and he's the other guy who's getting a shot at this starting rotation with the two guys on the DL. That one hit him. Johnson hit by the 0-2 pitch. That's the third time he's been hit this season.
He struggles with consistency, especially with the breaking pitch. He's trying to throw a slider there, and it just got away from him.
Right around the left elbow. Pull and see. Nate Lucero will take a look at that. Like it might have gotten him just above the left elbow a little bit. That band might have helped a little, but it's got to be stinging him right now. Humberto Quintero comes up. He has a double and a walk tonight. Brett Myers on deck.
You know, we talk a lot, you know, like when we faced that Chapman kid in Cincinnati the other day, saying, well, you don't want to get hit by this guy. Well, you don't want to get hit by anybody. You know? We talk about the difference between fastballs and breaking balls.
Line to the right, Quintero. He's 2 for 2 in this game of the walk.
If it gets you in the right spot, I don't care if it's a knuckleball, it's going to hurt.
Yeah. And now that's going to be it for Samardzija. Mike Quade's already made the move to the bullpen. Samardzija gave his club some important innings here, and he gets a pat on the backside as he leaves the field right now with a score. Houston 7, Chicago nothing. Back in a moment.
Sunday, Dog Day afternoon, presented by HEB. Astros play the Padres at 1:05. Dog Day tickets include a bullpen box seat for you in the Pooch Parade, and the Pooch Costume Contest. Visit Astros.com/dogday tonight.
These folks have been watching Jeff Stevens warm up. And he's now facing Brett Myers with runners at first and second, 2 outs, 7-0 Astros. Stevens making his first appearance for the Cubs this year. Just got called up from AAA Iowa. There's strike one as Myers takes a big rip. He singled in the second, bunted into a forced play in the fourth, and scored a run. Stevens in his career is 1-0 with a 6.53 earned run average.
A handful of games in 09 for the Cubs, 18 appearances last year, 1 so far this season. Fastball, slider, curveball.
Curve comes in, and it's 0-2. Stevens was drafted by Cincinnati in '65, traded to Cleveland for Brandon Phillips. The Cubs got him in the Mark DeRosa trade after the '08 season.
It's a knuckleball.
Wow. Where did that come from? He broke that out for this game. Well, it worked. It got him a force out at second base, and after 5, the Astros lead the Cubs 7-0. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Brett Myers keeping his pitch count down, and he got the early run support. The Astros spotted him a 3-run first and 2 more in the second. Then they added 2 in the 4th. So Myers has found it to be smooth sailing tonight, scattering some hits, 2 in the first, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and shooting for win number 1 of the year.
We talked about the job Samardzija did for Mike Quade by giving him some work out of the bullpen, and same situation here with Myers, and a comfortable lead at 7-0, but now your focus of your Brett is just take this thing as deep as you can and save the bullpen. The bullpen gave the Astros 5 innings of work last night, so you'd like to give as many guys a night off as possible when you got this nice comfortable lead.
Quade's club with a 5-5 record, trailing here by 7. And Myers delivers ball 1. Marlon Byrd has 2 of those 5 hits off Myers. A single to right, a double to right center.
It's an important inning for the Cubs as the middle of their order gets the 3rd look at Brett.
Single through the left side. Marlon Byrd is 3 for 3.
Came into this game with a .349 batting average, lifetime about .290. He's kind of a good hitter.
Yep. He has 18 hits. This is game number 11. It's a nice pace. Aramis Ramirez is 0 for 2, 2 fly ball outs. Jeff Samardzija in 3 innings allowed 3 hits, 2 runs. He walked 1 and fanned 2. Also hit a batter. Tommy Hanson and the Braves shut out Florida 5-0. Hanson notched his first win of the year. Chris Volstad was the loser. Jason Hayward and Brian McCann went deep. 1-1 to Ramirez. Washington and Levon Hernandez beat the Phillies 7-4 in Washington, beating Joe Blanton.
Is there a team in the National League with more young talent than the Braves?
Can't think of one.
I mean, in terms of, and the guys I'm talking about aren't just young players that are pretty good. They've got guys with big-time star potential.
True.
Freeman and Hayward and Hanson, and there's 2 arms in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Hugh taking one to the coconut.
He takes a lot of blows. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Ramirez stepping out, trying to think through this confrontation. Okay, just took a shot inside. Will he double up, come back in there, or is he going to throw me that curveball? Most likely the latter.
Got it.
Slider.
Well, Myers, more of a pitch to contact type hurler than he was a few years ago. And that allows him to make his way through a game with fewer pitches, which also makes it a possibility to pile up more innings. He did an excellent job of that last year with the Astros. 223 of them blocked by Quintero. 3-2. Myers struck out 180 in 223 innings. Certainly not a bad strikeout number at all.
And just a little bit below his career norm.
Those ground ball outs on the first or second pitch of the count too can be real arm savers. Up the middle into center field. Ramirez singles. Runners at first and second, nobody out for Pena now. Pena's 1 for 2. 80 pitches for Myers.
Doing exactly what you're supposed to do with a comfortable lead and just throwing quality pitches. He hasn't walked anybody tonight.
Carlos Lee Not too far off the line at first base.
No, I was looking at Northeastern baseball the website because we talked about Pena when he first came up tonight that he was from Northeastern University. And I said, well, that's not really a baseball factor. They have not produced a lot of big league players, but just about every year they have somebody drafted out of there.
Infield shifted around on Pena. 1 ball, 1 strike. Myers is 9-1 in his career at Minute Maid Park with a 2.31 ERA. He was 8-0 as an Astro last year here. He has the lowest career ERA in stadium history for 100 innings or more. Slightly ahead of Roger Clemens' 2.55. Myers 2.31 in this ballpark. Bounce slowly. Myers going over to cover. Here's Lee tossing to him, and he stretches back to take that throw. Hall now calls time. And he almost brushed with Carlos Lee as they both went for that grounder.
And not an easy chance here, because Carlos has to flip this ball behind him a little bit to Myers on the move. Nice play by both guys. Myers able to control his body and handle this toss from El Caballo. The other option would have been the little beat behind the back. You know, a little behind the back NBA move from Carlos. And then you sail that one into the dugout and you'll never hear the end of it. Or the Mark Burley between the legs flip.
Yeah, wasn't that something last year? Alfonso Soriano's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a foul pop. We're getting ready to play in San Francisco with the Dodgers and Giants matching up tonight. Tim Lincecum for the Giants. It was interesting what they did last night as players from both the Giants and Dodgers came out on the field in a pregame ceremony and spoke to the crowd about keeping things cool and not having any more episodes like the one that happened in the parking lot at Dodger Stadium where the Giant fan was beaten. Into center field, and Bill Hall makes the over-the-shoulder catch and fires back in. Tremendous play by Hall. 2 outs.
Well, it sure was. That's the kind of ball I was talking about earlier where you're kind of hoping an outfielder comes in and runs you off because it's a much easier play for an outfielder if he can get there. But the outfielder, unless they're sure, can't call it. Now, this is just one of those tweeners where 3 guys had a shot at it, and I think ultimately any one of the 3 could have caught it. And the guy who had the toughest chance ultimately made the play. Well, Hall's having a nice game. He's been all over that field tonight.
Makes the throw back in. The runners hold at second and third, 2 outs. Soto the batter, 0 for 2. Strike on the curveball from Myers. Little roller goes third base way, and here's the throw on the run from Chris Johnson. Nailed it. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men stranded. Middle of the 6th inning, 7-0 Astros. has made a couple of changes. And it's Reed Johnson taking over in center field after Marlon Byrd went 3 for 3 in the game. Aramis Ramirez leaves at third base, making room for Blake DeWitt in this 7-0 game, with Quade making those substitutions. Jeff Stevens remains on the mound. He's the third pitcher to work tonight for the Cubs. It'll be Bourne, Sanchez, and Pence for the Astros in the 6th inning. Cincinnati and San Diego are just about ready to start in San Diego. Clayton Richard going tonight for the Padres. Michael Bourne has a pair of hits. He's scored 3 runs in the game, stealing 2 bases on consecutive pitches in the 2nd inning. So 9 runs scored for Michael. This is game number 11. That's a very nice pace. That's ball 1 from Stevens. Sam LeCure is pitching for the Reds tonight against Clayton Richard. It's 2 balls, no strikes.
See where Ryan Zimmerman went on the DL.
Yeah, what's that injury?
He's got a strained abdominal muscle. Called up catcher Jesus Flores from AAA Syracuse. So if you're a fantasy player and you got Ryan Zimmerman, you might as well put him on the bench for a little while.
Gotta watch those injuries for fantasy ball. Toronto and Seattle just about ready to start in Seattle. They had a wild one last night. Blue Jays blew a 7-0 lead and lost.
Did they really?
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The lucky guy of the evening, King Felix, gave up those 7 runs, cut off the hook.
Wow. Well, he deserved that after last year pitching so well and having almost no run support.
True. Well, Brett Myers has gotten the run support tonight. First 2 outings, he didn't get much. Bourne is down on strikes. 1 out. Let's take a look at how this game has gone. Hunter Pence drove in the first run with a single to left, scoring Michael Bourne, who had bunted his way on. And Bourne, with a grounder, deflected to shortstop, scoring Quintero. That was in the 2nd. The Astros took a 5-0 lead. Bourne stole 2nd and 3rd in that inning. And Angel Sanchez drove in 2 in the 4th with a single. And now as he bats here in the 6th inning, the Astros lead at 7-0.
Edit that video just right. You can say Michael Bourne stole 2nd and 3rd on the same pitch. He's that fast.
He is. Almost is. No balls, 2 strikes.
Did a line drive up the middle and it hit him in the backside, sliding into second base.
Easy as 1, 2, 3 when the top 3 hitters in the order do what those 3 guys have done. They have 6 of the Astros' 10 hits.
They love those twofers.
They've scored 5 of the 7 runs. 1, 2, 3 hitters. 1 and 2. St. Louis 2, Arizona 2, top of the 2nd. Armando Galarraga of Arizona is pitching, and Lance Berkman has hit his 3rd home run. He hit 2 last night. David Freese hit number 3 as well. Up the right field line. Here's Colvin coming over. The ball is fouled.
All right, here's a little bonus trivia for you guys. Tyler Colvin out there in right field. Played collegiately at Clemson University. Give me 2 Astros who played at Clemson University.
Good question. How long are you going to give him?
Yeah, I'll give him until Angel's at bat is over.
Take a while. He fouls off that pitch.
You're right. He does hang in there. He's buying you time.
Yeah, he's a good hitter for trivia questions. Albert Pujols got a hit his first time up for St. Louis. He's hitting 171 right now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chris Carpenter's on the mound for the Redbirds. Racing ball off his foot.
That camera shot of Hunter there. You just witnessed the funkiest practice swing in all of baseball.
It's a setup.
It almost looks like one of those old black and white reels from at fast speed.
It does.
Enos Slaughter.
The old newsreel in the movie theaters. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah. World War II days. Yeah, that's how they got their highlights. Go to the movie theater in World War II. Punched outside the right field line. 3 Cubs running for it as it drifts back into the seats. Good effort by Colvin. Left his feet. Royals and Twins are tied 3-3. They're in the top of the 7th in Minnesota.
Okay, I can't win anymore.
Okay, who are they?
The two I was thinking of. There may be more. Billy Spires and Denny Walling.
Ooh, Denny Walling. Good question. Would Joe Sambito be the only Astro from Adelphi University you could think of?
Pretty good chance.
Punch to right center field by Sanchez. That drops in and rolls to the center fielder, Reed Johnson. Double for Sanchez, his 2nd of the year. A 3-hit game for Angel.
This major league home run in the ball game last night. He's really doing an outstanding job, given the opportunity to play with Clint Barmas' injury. And you talk about an at bat. Make Stevens work like crazy. And he hits a double into the alley off of him.
It's his 2nd 3-hit game. In the last 3, he had 3 hits on Sunday.
Clint's probably heard you. Been Wally pipped about 10 times down there tonight.
Yeah. Well, this is the 5th straight game for the Astros with 10 hits or more. Hunter Pence for strike 1 has 2 of those hits and 2 runs batted in. Sanchez has an OPS of well above 800. Before this game, his on-base average was .395 and slugging percentage was .447. No balls, 2 strikes. Sizzling start for the Astros shortstop, filling in for Barmas. Angel has played second base as well. If you're trying to project what might be happening when Barmas comes back, of course Bill Hall's there, but can play either position. Hunter with a grounder to Barney, retired for out number 2. The Brown Hand Center, great hands of the game, shows you the Astros glove work in the 6th inning. There's Carlos Lee with the toss to the pitcher. Myers covering. A little grounder by Pena. And then the fine catch by Bill Hall, and Chris Johnson makes the 3rd play in a row after the first 2 had reached on singles. Now Carlos Lee off the end of the bat. It cues right out in front of the plate. Soto throws him out. No runs, a hit. Runner stranded at 3rd after 6, 7-0 Astros.
On Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Steel. Visit SteelDealers.com. By Jack in the Box and the All-American Jack Combo. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards.
Downtown Houston, Texas, 7-0 Astros. Jeff Baker on deck to pinch hit for the pitcher, Stevens. Marcus Mateo in the bullpen for the Cubs. Brett Myers throws ball 1 to Tyler Colvin. He's 0 for 2. Last year, Myers went 6 innings or more in his first 32 starts. A club record. Former President Bush and his wife Barbara leaving the ballpark tonight. The customary standing ovation when they leave. In the air, foul and out of play for a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Have you been to the Bush Library, the College Station?
I have not.
Very, very good stop. And they've redone it since, you may have been there 7 or 8 years ago. It's been redone since then, last couple of years or so. Fly ball, right field line. Hunter Pence looking up. That one reaches the seats. Colvin hits number 2 of the season, and the Cubs are on the board, trailing 7-1. He was hitting 115 at game time, but seemed to be a little bit out in front. Hit that one mostly with his right arm, JD.
Yeah, but we talked about hitters staying through the ball, and I think he got on his front foot a little bit, but he kept his hands back and then kind of extended through the pitch. A little bit of a hanging breaking ball, I think, from Brett. He has not made many mistakes tonight, and that one's not going to hurt him a whole bunch.
Jeff Baker's the pinch hitter for Jeff Stevens. Baker, who is 8 for 19 for a .421 average, has a homer, 4 runs batted in. He's been playing some second base. Eye-popping numbers here early season. OPS over 1,000. On Friday, he had a 4-hit game. Colvin has made it 7-1 with the Cubs' 8th hit. Baker's 5 for his last 9. 2 balls and a strike. Baker, a former Colorado Rocky. Stevens in 1 1/3 innings allowed 1 hit, no runs. He had no walks and struck out 1. Behind second base, it goes out to Michael Bourne. 1 out. Myers with that tremendous consistency last year, going 6 innings in each of his first 32 starts. Following that same pattern here for the first 3 starts anyway this season. 7 innings, 6 1/3, and now so far 6 1/3 tonight with Starlin Castro facing him, 2 for 3. That one goes off his foot out toward the mound. Strike 1 to Castro.
We talk a lot about Brad Arnsberg and what he brings to the table and how much he helps the Astros pitchers, but it goes both ways. It has to be a lot of fun for Arnie to watch these guys succeed, especially guys who are capable of executing a game plan. When he breaks down all that video and all the statistics and the hitter's strengths and weaknesses, and he says, this is what I want you to do, and a guy can go out there and do it. That'd be very rewarding for Brad.
Yes. Carlos Lee backpedaling into right field for the catch, 2 down.
You can give the guy all the information in the world, but if he can't execute the pitches, it's not going to do him much good.
Brett Myers won 14 last year for the Astros. He lost 8 with a 3.14 ERA. First round pick of the Phillies in '99. The Astros had signed him as a free agent prior to last season. He has signed a 2-year extension with a vesting option for a 3rd year over the winter. Darwin Barney's 0 for 3. Dodgers have placed shortstop Rafael Furcal on the 15-day disabled list. He has a broken left thumb.
He's had a hard time staying healthy.
Yeah. Head first dive while stealing 3rd last night.
That's what happened with Hamilton, too. Head first dive. We talked about this the other day. It's great to play all out, but sometimes self-preservation, in a long baseball season is more important.
Yes. On the 100th pitch from Myers, it's a ground out to Angel Sanchez. The Colvin home run gets the Cubs their first run of the night, 7-1 Houston. Second base, and Marcus Mateo is pitching. It's 7-1, Houston leading the Chicago Cubs. It's a happy seventh inning stretch for these Astros fans. And for Jeff Baker, a move to second base after pinch hitting for the pitcher Stevens. New pitcher is Marcus Mateo. He's been in 5 games and his ERA is 2.70. And we understand Brad Mills is in one of the suites tonight. There's Brad along with his wife Rhonda. Brad is not allowed to be in uniform for the game, serving his 1-game suspension. He is allowed certainly to be there or other areas in the ballpark. Is not allowed to be on a broadcast, from what we were told.
Yeah, he couldn't be in the booth. Because I was offering that up. I said, you could come do my job. I could take the night off. But he said he's not allowed to. Probably fear that he would sit up here and go, boy, this would be a good time to hit and run. And next thing you know.
Word gets down to Al Pedrique.
And he couldn't be anywhere where he had access to the players, so he couldn't hang out in his office because the players could come from up the tunnel from the dugout into the clubhouse.
Al Pedrique managed the Arizona Diamondbacks for a while, taking over for Bob Brenly, who's next door. Jeff Fulcino's warming up for the Astros. Meanwhile, Jason Michaels falls behind 0-2, and he's 0 for 3 tonight. Well, Mateo, pitcher number 4 tonight, after Russell, the starter, went an inning and 2/3. Samardzija went 3 innings. Sharp breaking ball makes it 1-2.
Mateo up for 21 ball games last year with the Cubs. Got a good arm. Average better than a strikeout per inning pitched. 95 miles an hour. Boy, you talk about the difference. Stevens was a short armor. His arc, tight little arm action, kept his arm in close to his body. Mateo just the opposite. He gets real good extension.
And many feel this is one of the big differences in the game the last few years. All the hard throwing relievers. It's changed from an offensive game back in the 90s to more of a pitcher dominated game in recent years.
Well, last year for sure, wasn't it? Boy, no hitters and runs were down, home runs down. Whoa,
It looked high, but it's strike 3 call. 1 out. Dropped right down there, mask high, so it depends on where across the plate. Good drop down, catch the back edge of the plate. Bill Hall is 1 for 3, an RBI single his first time up. Ball's back to fastball. There's strike 1 to Hall. Mateo was signed by Cincinnati in 04, traded to the Cubs in 07.
Talking to Bill Hall around the batting cage today about his home run last night. Man, you just kind of flicked your wrist on that one. He said, hey, just put the barrel of the bat on the ball. It reminded me of Jack Nicklaus talking about golf. He used to think about just trying to apply the club to the back of the ball. It's kind of his thought process.
Oh, so that's how you do it.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Because that's what we need in golf is more things to think about.
Well, it was surprising that the pinch homer was the 6th pinch homer of his career. Strikeout number 2 in a row for Mateo.
Yeah, Mateo, an intriguing guy with that slider and a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Interesting to see if he takes on a more meaningful role with the Cubs. But they already have Marmol out there closing things. And Sean Marshall's developed into a very good setup man.
3 straight scoreless outings for Mateo coming into this one. Chris Johnson is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch last time up. You know, the sharpness of that slider. Well, he started that one in a really good spot for a pitcher. Veered out of the zone. No balls, 2 strikes. Oakland leads the White Sox 5-4 in the middle of the 6th in Chicago. Kevin Kuzminoff with his first homer. Alexi Ramirez for the Sox, number 2. One ball and 2 strikes. This is game 2 of a 3-game series. Tomorrow night the finale is on May 20 at 7 o'clock. Wandy Rodriguez versus Carlos Zambrano. And then a 4-game set with the San Diego Padres opens Thursday night. Bud Norris and Dustin Mosley at 7:05 here on FS Houston. All 4 of those games this weekend with the Padres will be on FS Houston. Game 2 of the series Friday night matches Jay Happ and Aaron Harang. Saturday night at 6:05 it's Nelson Figueroa and Matt Latos, who just returned from the DL and pitched last night. And Sunday it's Brett Myers and Clayton Richard. And this one gets away. CJ trotting up the line is thrown out to complete the strikeout, and he struck out the side. And wow is right.
That was impressive.
Yes, it was. Watch for him later on this season at a ballpark near you. 7-1 Houston.
7-1. Astros breaking out the bats tonight, leading the Chicago Cubs, getting ready to square this series at a game apiece. Kevin Eschenfelder with you out here in the Landry's Crawford boxes with an invitation to join us immediately following the game for Astros Live. We'll be hearing from, I guess, the manager Al Padrique tonight. His press conference, a little different view that we're used to hearing Brad Mills night in and night out. We'll also check in on the plays of the night as well as head to the clubhouse for some post-game reaction. It's all coming up after the game on Astros Live as we go back upstairs to Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. Fellas.
Thank you, Kevin. We look forward to that show afterwards. Jeff Fulcino comes in now after Brett Myers went the first 7 innings for the Astros, allowing the Cubs 8 hits, 1 run. He didn't walk anybody while fanning 5. Fulcino has no decisions with an ERA of 3.60 for 5 innings. Reed Johnson, the first to face him.
5 appearances, 1 inning at a time for Fulcino. A couple outings in Philadelphia, 1 in Cincinnati, twice with the Fish over the weekend.
Strike to Reed Johnson. Thirsty little fellow. It's very important to hydrate before going to bed. So you keep your folks up all night. No balls, 2 strikes.
Hopefully that's water.
Don't you hate it when they're eating and drinking so late at night?
Man, little guy's a camel.
It's a bottomless pit. No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, there you go. You got it going on.
I think it must be an energy drink, JD.
His whole face goes in that cup.
I love it when you can't see their eyes. Lined up the right field line. That is in for extra bases. Reed Johnson heads for second. Hunter Pence digs it out of the corner. A double for Johnson. That's his first hit. He was 0 for 7. Not that kid's first hit on that big cup. Blake DeWitt will be next.
He's a creature of habit, this little guy. Takes a drink, puts it in, picks it up, yells at the field.
There's not that much liquid in that cup.
Now you ordering another one?
DeWitt takes, and there's strike 1. He is 1 for 7 with 2 runs batted in with the Cubs. DeWitt, the former Dodger, lets that one go from Fulcino. Gets a check swing call. 1 ball, 1 strike. DeWitt goes to a 2-1 count.
Jeff trying to work that fastball down. Now he left it up to Johnson and paid the price for it.
DeWitt 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter last night. Was with the Dodgers and Cubs last year. He was traded to Chicago in the Ted Lilly deal. 25 years old. 2-2. He was a first-round pick in 04 by the Dodgers, and the Cubs had really planned on playing him quite a bit at second base this year, and they may yet do that, but he did not have a good spring, and as you can see, has had 7 at-bats to this point of the season. Darwin Barney has gobbled up a lot of his playing time. A strikeout for Fulcino takes care of out number 1.
Good work there, coming out the fastball at 94 miles an hour with a good split finger pitch, and pitches DeWitt way out in front.
Carlos Pena had a hit to right field. Bill Hall was out in right field. In the 4th inning, he's 1 for 3. Arizona 5, Cardinals 3, bottom of the 3rd. Carpenter having a rough time. There's ball 1 in tight. D-backs got 2 in the first and 3 more in the second. Justin Upton has hit his 3rd home run. Colby Rasmus has added his 2nd to the Redbirds home run parade of Berkman and Freese prior to his blast. Fulcino pours one in, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count.
Carpenter becomes doubly important to the Cardinals now with Adam Wainwright lost for the season.
Sure does. Kyle McClellan has pitched well for that Cardinal club twice now. And he hit well last night, too. Rolled foul.
Talking with the Cub broadcasters yesterday, and they were very impressed with what they saw from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
They have an interesting lineup, and you know, we keep seeing Pedro Alvarez at third base on the highlights at night with some spectacular plays. Overbay's the first baseman now. Neil Walker, good young player. Of course, the center fielder is outstanding. McCutcheon. 2-2, and I think they've had better pitching performances than many people thought they might get. Apparently, Charlie Morton is throwing the ball extremely well.
Yeah, staff ERA of 3.29. That's pretty good. I don't think it'll hold up.
Yeah, it would be tough to hold at that level. Paid attendance tonight is 23,523. The count goes full for Jeff Fulcino.
It's very deliberate. Takes a lot of time between pitches. Very scholarly with that professorial beard.
Fastball, towering pop. Quintero over. Cubs clear out of his way. And it drops. Chris Johnson stuck his glove out.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
And they're charging Chris Johnson with the error. That's his 4th error.
Well, had a lot of backspin, obviously, in a windy night. Q kind of wasn't all that close to it. Pursued it like he had a beat on it.
Yeah, and I think CJ expected Q to catch it.
Realized at the last he was the better option, but by the time he threw his leather out there, it was too late.
Exactly. And from Q's standpoint, he went to the rail. That's what players are taught to do. Go as far as you can go, but then as you say, it started moving back the other way to left field for Jason Michaels. 2 outs. And it'll be Soriano next. He's 0 for 3. I don't know. You know, I'm kind of in favor of the team error, JD.
I am too.
In cases like that, you're not sure who should, you know, the ball should be caught, but not sure who should get it.
And even on a play like that, where ultimately the guy makes an out, I would be in favor of taking the error off the books.
Sure, that's not a bad thought at all. Just wipe it out. Here's ball 1.
A mulligan, if you will.
It could be expunged from the record.
Defensive mulligan.
They got something like that in hockey, the delayed penalty. If they score, they wipe the penalty off.
That's right. Good fastball.
Could somebody sprint out of the dugout for the extra attacker?
You know, the funny thing, too, about this whole discussion about team error, we've been all in baseball a long time. We've been talking about it forever, and we're not the only people. Still don't have it.
Nope. They won't listen to us, Greg.
I guess not. But we're not alone.
We're not?
No.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Baseball is generally fairly slow to change, and there's, you know, we're so tied to the history of the game and the numbers. I think there's a fear of rule changes that could affect numbers. I don't know. But that wouldn't be that drastic.
No.
And defensive numbers are the quickest thing you could change because, frankly, nobody pays that much attention to them.
Except Bill James.
Yes, he does. And they've done, actually, I should qualify that. In recent years, they've paid a little more attention to him, thanks to people like Bill James. But historically, I have no idea what Babe Ruth's defensive fielding percentage was in his career.
You don't?
I don't.
You don't know how many outfield assists he had?
I just have not the foggiest.
How many Gold Gloves he won?
Yeah, wins above replacement.
Yeah, well,
I don't know any of that
What was
stuff.
the Babe's fort?
Well, Gene Duffy just wrote a note that there was a team error back in the 1950s on foul ball. No, not a team error. Something about foul balls in the 1950s. We'll have to check that out. There's never been a team error to our knowledge.
There was a time in baseball history when sacrifice flies were counted as at bats.
That's true.
Matter of fact, the year that Ted Williams hit 407, that was one of the years they counted them, and they calculated he would have actually hit 411 had the sacrifice fly existed.
Huh.
Revisionist history. Soriano keeps the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes with Fulcino on the mound.
That was a pretty good pitch there.
Greg, if you could be commissioner for a day and change one thing about Major League Baseball, what do you think it would be?
Oh, I'd let them leave their gloves on the field.
They used to do that.
Yes, they did.
Quintero wanted it down. He got it low from Fulcino. And these fans' thirst for good baseball has not yet been slaked, as it's no runs a hit. An error and a man left. It is 7-1 Houston.
Over the Cubs and take the Astros with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.com tonight to see every Astros game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Astros.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball is everywhere. Bill Brown.
What would be your favorite device, Patty, for viewing? Do you have an iPhone?
I absolutely have an iPhone.
Okay, very good.
No brainer there.
How about an iPad? Do you have an iPad?
No, I was admiring Kevin Eschenfelder's iPad tonight, though. I'm jealous, and it's on my bucket list.
John Graybo, with no decisions, an ERA of 2.70, faces Humberto Quintero, who's been on all 3 times. Double, walk, single. There's strike 1. Marcus Mateo struck out the side in his 1 inning, the 7th. Jason Bourgeois is on deck to pinch hit for Jeff Fulcino next. Graybo worked last night 2/3 of an inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs. And he's one of those lefties who's also effective against right-handed hitters, about the same from both sides of the plate against Graybo.
Yeah, he works from the third base side of the rubber, and
There's a pretty good changeup that moves down and away from right-handed hitters, a pitch they have a difficult time handling. Tough act to follow the one Mateo threw the ball. My goodness.
Yeah. He lit it up. Drive to center field sends Reed Johnson turning back into left center to the warning track, and he turns. And, he dropped it. Now the ball's in play, and here's a play at third base. A throw from Castro is getting away, and Quintero is safe at third. Q took a trip to the Insperity sign, and he sent Reed Johnson into that area at the 404 sign, as you'll see.
Well, pretty good bolt off the bat of Humberto Quintero. 3 for 3 tonight, plus a walk. Looks like Johnson was ultimately going to be able to haul it in, but got a little short on there at the last. Could not corral it. Q had broken it down, thought he was out. He said, well, I got to get to third base now. Or else I'll get in trouble for not running hard. And had they made the play, it would have been out. All's well that ends well.
He's had some real adventures going to third base this week. Now Jason Bourgeois with a pinch RBI single makes it 8-1 as he goes to right field. Well, Jason off the bench gets his 4th hit in his 10th at bat of the season, and that is RBI number 1 for him.
Did Hughes ball rule the triple?
We're still waiting for that.
Well, here's a swing of the bat by Bourgeois. Astros hitters last couple of nights have been very good off the bench. And continues with that swing of the bat from Jason.
It was a triple. So now in the same first 11 games of the season, Carlos Lee has 2 triples and Humberto Quintero has 1. Slapped by Michael Bourne. Blake DeWitt can't make a play on him.
Tough night all the way around for the Cubs. On the mound, at the plate, and in the field, it has been a pretty sloppy game. But the Astros have had great at-bats, set the tone early at the top of the order, and they've just continued all night long. They just a little goat head in the glove there. Couldn't handle it.
The Cubs now have been charged with 3 errors in this game. Angel Sanchez has 3 hits. That one to left center field. Soriano digging for it. Reed Johnson dives and can't hold it. And now here's the race. Bourgeois to third base, and he'll stop there with the bases loaded now. Runners had to hold. It's a long single for Angel Sanchez off the glove of a diving center fielder. That's unusual.
And nowhere to go as the base runners ahead of him had to wait. Johnson playing Sanchez the other way. You see how far he has to go. Soriano got a bad jump on this ball. Ultimately, or initially, I should say, I thought he was the guy that should have been close enough to try to make the play, but he kind of quit on it early, yielded to Johnson, sold out but couldn't hang on.
He sure did sell out. That's 14 hits for the Astros, 4 for Sanchez now. That ties Sanchez's career high for hits in a major league game. Now Hunter Pence, deep drive right field. Coleman back. That smacks off the wall. That scores Bourgeois. Michael Bourne around to the plate. And into third, Sanchez on a 2-run double by Pence, giving him 4 runs batted in. And the Astros have had a breakout night.
Yeah, for a boxing match, I think somebody would have thrown in the towel. Bobby Rodriguez is probably down there going, okay, fellas, save some of these for tomorrow. I gotta love that swing.
You're right. 4th double for Pence. Carlos Lee fouls it away.
Man, he's teeing off now.
Yeah. Humberto Quintero with 3 hits has tied his career high, and the Astros are 8 for 16 with runners in scoring position. 10 runs on 15 hits. DeWitt backhands, throws low. Carlos Pena saves him an error, but the run scores to make it 11-1. Ali picks up RBI number 6. 10-run margin for the Astros. Jason Michaels is 0 for 4 tonight. Everybody in the starting lineup, other than Lee, Michaels, and Johnson, have hits, including the starting pitcher, Brett Myers. Strike to Michaels. Well, Brad Mills is suspended, but he's watching quite a show from the suite. Behind first base, up the right field line. A hit for Michaels now. Getting Pence to third base. And J. Mike joins with his first hit of the season.
Oh, that Al Padrique can manage. When you're 0 for 4, you'll take that knock. Heck, you'll take that knock when you're 3 for 4.
Yeah. Michaels now 1 for 10 to open the season. 11 runs. Astros really having a night of it with 16 hits. Mark Riggins, the pitching coach, out. Graybo came in last night in that situation in the 7th inning in relief of Ryan Dempster with a 1-run lead, and gave up a walk to Pence and a hit to Lee, but got Wallace and Johnson to get out of trouble. Now Bill Hall, 1 for 4, an RBI single. Strike one from Graybo. He and Sean Marshall are the lefties in the bullpen for the Cubs. That's a line shot. Starlin Castro goes diving to his left to stop it. A bullet. 2 outs.
Michael's ball was not hit well at all. This ball absolutely scalded. There's been some really good swings at the veteran lefty here.
Now it's Chris Johnson. He needs a hit to make it all 9 Astros starters in the hit department. And he fouls that one for strike one. Chris 0 for 3, hit by a pitch. What Gene Duffy was writing the note about earlier on our fielding plays we were talking about was that he said in the 1950s they would take away the error if the batter made an out. That's what we had talked about. You made that point. That strike 0-2, and Mike Uguccione let us know from the truck that Babe Ruth's fielding percentage was .966. Foul away. Still 0-2 to CJ. Kansas City 3, Minnesota 3, bottom of the 9th at Target Field. The hard-throwing lefty Tim Collins in the game for the Royals. Chopper to shortstop. Castro in. And the throw means the Astros in the 8th inning played 4 runs on 5 hits with 1 error and 2 men left. And they lead at 11-1. Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. A beautiful night here in downtown Houston, and the Astros fans have liked a lot of things about this evening. Look at that scoreboard. An early 5-0 lead after 2 for Brett Myers. He certainly took it to the bank. 7 innings of 1-run baseball. Now it's Brett Wallace taking over as the first baseman. Carlos Lee got an RBI in the 8th. He leaves the game after going 0 for 5 with that run batted in. And pitcher number 3 of the night, Anuri Rodriguez, takes over to try to lower that ERA.
Murray has worked 4 times this year. Just 2 1/3 innings. If you were with us early in the ball game, he announced that talked about Rodriguez being suspended. He has appealed his suspension, and now he's set to serve 3 games at some point.
That could be reduced on appeal. That's hammered on a line to left field, and a hit in front of Jason Michaels by Soto. Soto now 1 for 4. Hit number 10 for the Cubs, and Tyler Colvin comes up next. He homered in the 7th.
Rodriguez hit a batter, hit a Marlin, Gabby Sanchez in the backside the other day after when Mujica had hit Billy Hall. They were both ejected. Since Rodriguez came after a warning, he was suspended, as well as Millsy. That's why we had that shot of Brad up in the suite watching the game.
Still very puzzling. Brad Mills talked with Joe Torre, who's in charge of that, along with Joe Garagiola Jr. today. Got the news about his 1-game suspension. Said he disagreed with it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, and more than anything, Brad disagreed with the way Jim Joyce handled it. In that, you know, both guys that were hit on the backside. Nobody charged the mound. There was no menacing looks. There was nothing when the play happened at second base in the first game of the series to indicate that anybody was upset or was going to take a shot at anybody.
To left center, Jason Michaels watches the flight of this one, and it bangs off the wall, fielded by Michael Bourne. And that's a double. Colvin hit that a long way to left center, got it up in that breeze. Has 2 extra base hits in the 7th and 9th innings.
And really, that's kind of what the league wants anyway. You know, the one thing they're trying to limit is the headhunting. The fastball is up around the head. That's dangerous. You know, you kill somebody. But those inside pitches that, you know, hit somebody in the hip, no big deal. Both hitters just took their base.
Now Jeff Baker.
Nice. Swings it.
Oh, they are. A real bullet to third. Chris Johnson got in the way of it. Baker really drilled that one.
That's an 11-1 ball game, so the outcome of this game is not in question. But if you're Anuri Rodriguez, you want to make sure you kind of try to focus as much as you can. I mean, you've only been in the big leagues for a few days, and you don't want to get knocked around here, give up 3 or 4 runs. It's an opportunity to impress.
Starlin Castro is 2 for 4. There's strike one. Even though Anuri Rodriguez has the advantage as a Rule 5 draft choice, that the Astros could not send him to the minor leagues without working out some kind of a deal with the Tampa Bay Rays. Nonetheless, they could just decide they were going to give him back to Tampa Bay. So it was not a guarantee that he will be in the big leagues. He's going to have to produce something to stay in the big leagues. And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Dodgers and Giants scoreless, bottom of the 3rd at AT&T Park. Tim Lincecum has thrown 3 no-hit innings against the Dodgers. Chad Billingsley pitching now in the last of the 3rd for Los Angeles. A lunging swing for Castro makes it 1-2.
I wonder what the record is for fewest games in a major league career prior to being suspended.
Ooh.
I mean, this poor kid, he just been out there 4 times, and all of a sudden he's facing a suspension.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure he had no ill will when he was in that game. I mean, he hit the guy with the 6th pitch of the at bat.
Yes. Well, we talk about it all the time. It's been said for many, many years. The players can police themselves. They don't always do it, but in a case like the one on Sunday, all right, let's say that Mujica hits Hall, which he does, and there's no warning. Now, somebody in the Astros hits somebody on the Marlins. That might be the end of it, and there wouldn't have been suspensions.
Yeah, and I think that's the way it should have played out.
Johnson over to first, and he clips him as the run scores to make it 11-2. Castro picks up RBI number 3 with Soto scoring. And Coy Hill now will be the pinch hitter. He's pinch hitting for the pitcher, Graybo. Hill, a switch hitting catcher from Wichita State, is 0 for 3 with the Cubs this season. And there's strike 1 for Rodriguez. The Astros with a win tonight would go to 3-8 this season. They would be 2-3 on this homestand. Facing Big Z, Carlos Zambrano, tomorrow night on May 20 at 7 o'clock. Zambrano has started twice. He's 1-0 with a 5.25 ERA. Wandy Rodriguez goes for Houston tomorrow night. He's 0-1. The appeal goes to third base, and Gary Darling rules a check swing by Coy Hill. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Bobby Meacham alongside Al Pedrique. Astros had the players out early today for one of those periodic workouts they have at home before batting practice. Nuri Rodriguez delivers, and it's called ball 3. 3-1. Rodriguez was signed by the Rockies in 05, but was with Tampa Bay when the Astros took him in the Rule 5 draft.
Gonna pop him up right here. Maybe not.
Oh. And a appeal at third base. A check swing call by Darling on ball 4 to Coy Hill. Now Reed Johnson. Nobody warming up for Houston. Johnson double to right. His first time up in the 8th inning. Cincinnati and San Diego are tied 1-1 after 4. Strike 1 to Johnson.
Red Sox miseries continue. Tampa Bay beat them tonight 3-2.
Ooh.
Boston falls to 2-9.
Wow. A lot of their problem had been pitching, but they lost 3-2 tonight. Not a whole lot of hitting in that game.
I think David Price pitched for Tampa.
Okay, that would explain that. No balls, 2 strikes. Arizona 8, the Cardinals 3 after 4. Chris Young has hit his 3rd home run. Been a very enjoyable evening for these folks. They're ready now to take off with 2 outs and 2 on. Not quite yet. 1-2. Zambrano brings a pretty good head of steam into that game tomorrow night, the way he finished the season last year for the Cubs. Foul ball back. Keeps the count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Zambrano has a 9-game winning streak that ties his career high. And he's 14-8 lifetime against Houston with a 2.63 earned run average. Strike 3, that ends it. And the Cubs in the 9th inning get a run. On 2 hits, they strand 2. Al Pedrique takes over for one night as the manager for the suspended Brad Mills. Gets a lot of early runs. Brett Myers picks up win number 1 of the season. And the Astros blow out the Cubs tonight. Final score, Houston 11 and Chicago 2.